sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Big D Energy right here on the Woodward Sports Network alongside D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. My name is Neal Ruhl. We have Sam Flannel in the house. He is on brand. He is on budget. Chris in the production chair here today. We'll get to know Chris as the day goes on. Now, Chris, this is your first day, right, as captain of the ship, right?
First day.
First day is
First day.
You are the captain now.
I am.
All right.
I'm the captain of this ship.
Well, let's get it straight. I'm the captain, number one, okay? That's number one.
Okay.
The quicker you learn that, the better off you'll be. No, man, good to have you here today, Chris. Looking forward to working with you. But we are ready to rock. And D-Mac, it is a big day. We are less than an hour away from NHL free agency getting going. And, you know, D-Mac, it sounds like the Red Wings are looking to cop some free agents.
Shout out to our very own Tammy Chin Schultz yesterday. Tammy in the chat thread, who brought up the fact that Andrew Copp, who was traded earlier last season for the playoff run for the New York Rangers from the Winnipeg Jets. He's a guy that's going to command around $5-6 million, probably looking at a 5-year deal. But he is a guy, he's an upgrade from a Pie Suter. To me, he's another number 2 centerman, but he's a hockey player. He's somebody that when you hear his name, it'd be great to have him in the red and white. So you two can talk about being the captain all you want. Today's the real day that the real captain, Stevie Yzerman, is going to do his work. And here's the whole thing we were talking about earlier, right? Because you had to look at the angle, and obviously being from Ann Arbor and stuff, Andrew Copp will bring the Wolverine and different things in. But you can't forget, what did I say? You got by the greatest gatekeeper of them all in Steve Yzerman. So whoever signs a contract today, or whoever the Red Wings go with in free agency, has got the seal of approval from Steve Yzerman. That's good enough for me. Hashtag Wise Plan 1919.
No, it is. And this is a very, if this is true, obviously, with the Andrew Copp thing, this certainly does become a very on-brand, I think, signing for Steve Yzerman. But we are going to get to that. We will keep you in the loop as far as NHL free agency. People will keep us updated as well. So, looking forward to that. And we are going to discuss it. And the Red Wings are looking to make some moves. I hear around town all the talk about the Cadres and stuff like that. We have thoughts on it, and we are going to get to that. But, also along those lines, Sam Flannel, Copp's a University of Michigan product, right? You're a huge Michigan hockey fan, aren't you?
Oh, I'm the biggest Michigan hockey fan. Are you kidding me? Best program in the Big Ten. That's something that I take so much pride in,
Bigger Michigan baseball fan in the third week of May, or Michigan hockey fan? Which one?
Well, if Michigan's in the tournament, obviously baseball. If they're in the College World Series like they did when they lost to Vanderbilt in 3 games, a stacked team, I'm all about that Michigan baseball. There's nothing quite like it. A College World Series in Omaha, bucket list.
All right. In our YouTube chat, though, remember, you can get involved in the show. Go ahead and jump on if you're watching on the YouTube channel. Detroit Dabber 313 says, what up, doe? Mike G says, yo, NHL free agency and a big sack gives me the D. The away fan got a job interview today. We really like to change gigs. Well, the away fan, I hope it works out for you as far as that goes. But, yeah, man, ready to get this thing rolling. But, Chris, you're in for Spencer Raxter here today. Now, give everybody the 30,000-foot, Chris. Like, what are you about? What excites you about this? What are you nervous about here? Be real with the folks.
Well, first of all, the 30,000 just starts with my height. I am 30,000 feet.
You are a very tall man. Yeah. We'll start with that.
Yeah, I'm an NBA player without the NBA athleticism.
All right, gotcha.
That made going to Michigan State very difficult, because if I wore any type of athletic gear, the girls thought I was a basketball player, and then we both just leave the conversation disappointed. But I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to. I'm loving the TD. I'm loving the booth. I enjoy this show, and I'm just grateful, Neal, to be in your presence first and foremost.
That's just
okay.
That's just learning. Really you learn quick, Chris. You sat in the back, and hovered over Spencer. You've learned real well how it works around here, so I like to hear it. Good to have you, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. But D-Mac, as we talked about, NHL free agency kicking off here today, and we discussed this yesterday, and it was one of those things for me where it's easy, right? Especially as the term I like to use, D-Mac, is fantasyization of sports. We think because we sit in a couple fantasy drafts a year that we understand how the free agency works and all that kind of stuff. And it was easy, and I heard a lot of people, as my guy Stick likes to say, a lot of casuals, hockey fan casuals that are jumping in and talking about, well, all you got to do is trade for Tkachuk and sign Kadri and go after Johnny Gaudreau and stuff like that. I will say this, like when you look at, and again, I don't want it to devolve into this, the Avila versus the Yzerman with the Troy Weaver, because we've done that show a few times. But there is something calming for me. And look, the Andrew Copp thing, I understand what he's about as a player. I'm not going to lie to you and say I watched 13 Winnipeg Jets games this year, because I didn't. But it seems like it would be on brand. A move like that would be on brand for him. There's a guy that's going to win faceoffs. And D-Mac, what's been one of my pet peeves about the Red Wings, other than letting in goals in bunches? But I think that this contributes. And how does puck possession start?
Winning faceoffs.
It's not that hard, man.
Right. No, it isn't, and it's the intricacies of the game. What a guy like Andrew Copp will bring to your team is it's an all-around two-way hockey player, a guy that can play in all positions. I keep harkening back, and you hear me say, I go by what Derek Lalonde said. We got to build this team, defensively from the goal out. That starts with winning faceoffs, penalty killing, doing all the little things. That's what this Andrew Copp kid does, and he puts up goals. What do you like? You like crunch time. I'm about playoffs. 20 playoff games with the Rangers, you have 14 points and 6 goals. So, that's a guy that's involved. That's a guy that can be a valuable part of your team. He's a guy. He's more of the nuts and bolts guy that you need moving forward than he is a flashy guy. He's not your Ferrari. He's not your Fedorov. He's not signing that big free agent signing, but he's a guy that's going to help you move forward and solidify and get better. The object is to not be back in this position again, and along the way, you got to reinforce, and that starts a lot of times with the hockey players if the big money guy isn't out there. You look at the motivation of different guys, and we bring it up. Yeah, I'd love to have Nazem Kadri on my team, but the reality of it, for what he's going to get after just winning a cup, going through whatever else, does anybody realize that the biggest, sort of controversy, and the coach John Cooper brought it up for Kadri's overtime goal was Colorado having too many men on the ice. So what does Kadri do? He goes and gets the too many men on the ice shirt printed out and wears it with pride, right? You nailed it, Neal. What do you think Nazem Kadri told his agent?
Here's my conversation with my agent.
And I think
if I'm Kadri,
and if I had a bell or whatever else, I think this is exactly the conversation. This is what it would go like.
I would. Okay, Darren McCarty represents me. I'm Nazem Kadri, right? Hey,
all right, we're
D-Mac.
going to market, kid.
Okay.
You got value. What's your priority?
All right, well, here's the deal. I'm going to the golf course right now. All right, D-Mac, I'm going to the golf course. Do not call me. Do not text me unless you're talking to the team that offers me the biggest bag, because I'm 32 years old.
Me and his man.
Yeah, absolutely, Teddy KGB. I need Teddy KGB as my agent. I'm 32. I just won a cup. I only made $4.5 million last year. I was grossly underpaid for what I produced. That one helped win a Stanley Cup. Get me the biggest bag possible.
Yeah, and I'm looking at probably
do not call me or text me
9 and 10, and it looks like it looked to me, in the writing from what you hear, is just like we're talking about the rumors of Copp coming here. Well, you saw John Tortorella signed in Philadelphia to try to change that culture up. That's exactly look for Philly to drop the bag on Kadri. If they don't, it'll be interesting to see where he goes. But you're talking.
Do not call me or text me, Darren, about how Tampa wants to give me $7 million. I don't care. I'm not going. How Tampa wants to do 3 years for $7. No. I want 8.
Are you more concerned now? Are you more concerned because you're 32? That extra year in term, would you like? You want 5 at 9 or 6 at 8? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you looking more for term at your age?
Do I want 5 at 9 or 6 at 8? Let me see. 6
That's
at
more
8.
money.
6 at 8 is 48.
Got it.
5 at 9 is 45. I want 48.
Okay. Yeah, just so I know. That's the only clarification I needed. My man wants a bag, and I think that's where it is. Johnny Gaudreau, obviously, you're hearing rumors out of Calgary where they've offered him $10 million and stuff like this. So if he doesn't re-sign, he's going to get paid somewhere else, but it's got to be something that he wants a change of scenery. And that's what you got to look at these players' motivations. Just because the teams want them. There's another thing that Steve Yzerman said, after you got to remember in a rebuild, and when you're at the bottom and you're coming your way up, some of these guys, like the Cadres, they want to go to winners or where they're going to get paid, and they're not necessarily going to get paid, and they don't want to sort of help build a team. So you got to look at individual players and what their motivations are. So the bottom line is #WiserPlan. 1919. He will get to the bottom of each and every one of them. And because it's like getting that sticker, right? That sticker of approval that you've got your bag checked before you walk through security, right? There's just some sort of calm when you get that sticker down. You've gone through it. We all got to go through it. But the fact that Stevie's holding the stickers, it's good enough for me. Yeah,
and Bob Brennan, our YouTube chat thread, says maybe Kadri next. And again, $8 million a year is the price to get in the club, man. He's 32. Doesn't fit my timeline.
More. I still think he's gonna get more.
Yeah, that's the price to talk.
And
that's the price for my agent to pick up the phone. You do not call me unless it starts with an 8. Like that, do not call me. And it's one of those things where it just doesn't fit the timeline. And Gaudreau, the same deal, man. They're talking $10 million a year for Johnny Gaudreau. I mean, remember who's steering this ship. We talked about the show here, like who's the captain of the show, and you did bring that up. Remember who's steering this ship, D-Mac. There are the days of Ken Holland are over.
Right.
And by the way, Evander Kane just got $22 million.
Absolutely.
Still don't have a goalie.
Edmonton. Yeah, exactly.
They don't have any cap space, and they don't have a goalie.
Which goes to tell you, that's why having that little bit longer patience, and always go back to it seems apparent that as this Lions clock runs out on the season, the Pistons and the Red Wings are in the same position. But yeah, look, it'll be exciting. And I think as I see, Klompsaw says 5 for 5 for Copp. Yeah, I'm good with that. You're good with that. Yeah. That's right there with the cap money that doesn't do anything else. He's sort of earned it, and that's what we're looking at. I still looking. I know that even though you're not a destination place yet in Detroit, you still have things to offer. So Stevie's still not going to ever give away the money.
Yeah, right? and it's proven that that's the way that he operates, and we're seeing it. And you have to remember too, as far as the Red Wings go, there is a floor of $61 million. And the Red Wings right now are sitting at around $51.5 million. So they do have to spend. They got to get to $61 million,
which is cool. Yeah, because he's going to spend it, but you're going to spend it on you sort of have a choice. And there's some moves. Speculation I see in the chat thread that Jersey's making trades with Boston, so getting rid of centerman. So does that mean Johnny Gaudreau is going to Jersey? Now you're going to see things move around. It was always interesting. What was interesting to see though is you mentioned the Evander Kane that re-upped with Edmonton. Philip Forsberg last week re-upped with Nashville. That was the interesting guy.
Malkin re-upped with Pittsburgh. Letang re-upped with Pittsburgh.
Well, it's pretty much Malkin said yesterday he's going to test free agency, and Sidney said the only thing you're testing is my patience. And so bringing those guys back at $6 million seems like the feasible way to keep the band together.
Right. Now, Malkin, I think it's interesting you say that because Malkin valued being in Pittsburgh.
Right.
Playing with Crosby.
And playing with the tank. And did anybody laugh when he said that these are my brothers? I have a Canadian brother and a French-Canadian brother. Yeah.
The Rougeau brothers.
That's it.
The Rougeau brothers, as it might be. In today's day and age, for those three under contract to stay together for their whole career. Not two guys, not one guy. One guy's unique, but three guys, hats off to what Pittsburgh's been able to do there. In our YouTube chat thread, real quickly, 9 Drinks says, I thought that Chris was Spencer's parole officer just watching over him.
They also said I'm you, Junior. I'm Neal Jr.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
That's
You
a
got some
compliment.
relations.
I'll take it.
It is for you. Yeah. I love it, man. Hey, we are live at the Planet Fitness Studios. Home of the judgment-free zone is Planet Fitness, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. Think about that, guys. Come on. Black card option, $24.99 a month. Get you use of all the amenities. Pretty much everything Planet Fitness has to offer, you get access to with that Black card membership for less than $1 per day. Hydro massage, massage chairs, unlimited tanning, access to over 2,000 Planet Fitni. That's plural for Planet Fitnesses. We made that up. Over 2,000 of them worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. Join today in club. You'll pass a couple on the way home. Pull up on them right there. Join there. Go to planetfitness.com if you want to do it right now. It's Planet Fitness, D-Mac, where your fitness
is essential.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Hey guys, Darren McCarty here for Alta, and check this out for all you kids that love to play with Tonka toys, because Woodward Sports, Alta, and the American Cancer Society present the Big Dig. Yes, Saturday, July 16th at 275 East Highland in Howell, Michigan. The Big Dig allows children of all ages a hands-on, immersive instruction into the field of STEM. Pretty much you get to play with the big toys. Alta's professionals will help you put you in the driver's seat. Bring the whole family for the Big Dig. That's July 16th this weekend in Howell. How cool does that sound? That sounds really cool, doesn't it?
The Big Dig.
The Big Dig. Go play with those big Tonka threads.
Yeah, absolutely. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, back with you. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. We have Chris in the house today. We also have Sam Flannel, the legend killer, as well. He's always ready to roll at the drop of a hat. You know what he will do. But we are talking NHL. And, guys, look, man. I mean, and I hear D-Mac around town. I hear people say, and look, we're talking about the Goudreau thing and the Kadri thing, and everybody's just got to hold their water here for a minute. I get where it comes from, right? Like, I get where this is coming from, because the people say, I want to be relevant so bad. And I think that the Unrivaled documentary came out not too long ago, and people watched it. And even my close friends that aren't hockey people, they went back to that place for a little, you know. And my one buddy texted me, he said, you remember just how electric playoff game days were, like throughout the city and everything like that. And I know people want to get back to that. I understand that. So, you know, I'll cut everybody a little bit of a pass on there. But this is the new era in sports. This is a mantra that I've been pushing for a while here. It's cap space, it's good contracts, it's draft capital. It's not the transaction, it's not the huge free agent deal that sets you free. If you want to win, look, especially in hockey. It's more hockey than any other sport, it seems like. If you want to win, this is what you have to do. And 1919. That's the process he's working with, man. And he's not doing stupid-ish up there. He's not doing it.
Well, he knows how he did it before. He's sort of run the path before with Tampa and putting that team together. Now, I don't know, when I do things the first time, I look and see, oh, okay, I like the way that this was done, and I don't like the way this was done. I got to improve on this. You brought up a great point yesterday, Neal, and I think more so in hockey than anywhere, is that your free agent moves and stuff like this has to be on point to your books, because one bad move could leave you with two bad moves, right? Not only giving the contract that isn't good, overpaying somebody, giving them longer term, but then you have to come out from underneath of that contract. And how many times do we see teams get hamstrung with that? When we look at our books, we're hamstrung with a couple, but it's abdicated for $1 million for a couple of years, and after this year, Franz Nielsen at $500,000, which means they've been cleaned up, right? So you have to look at it that way. So it's so important when we look at a guy, when you're adding free agents, does the money work well? That's why I said to you, Andrew Copp, who were speculated is going to be Steve Yzerman's first free agent signing this season at 5 works with the books, right? It's when one of these teams gets desperate and has to throw the flyer out, right? If you broke it down in your analytical brain with draft capital and salary cap and stuff like that, where we've seen, you said the list yesterday, I think it was Anaheim, Carolina, Detroit, or Anaheim, something like that. With
Buffalo
Arizona.
was in there,
Buffalo. But the fact is that it's great to have it, but who do you trust in what you're going to do with this? Right? To that point, I look at Anaheim, they're going to be responsible. Why? They got Pat Verbeek, who comes off of the Steve Yzerman tree. You know what I'm saying? So the lineage goes to that, to your point. So it'll be interesting. Now, just like in any other sport, right? You have to have a guy. You can't just go and fill it in with role players and fill it in with $5 million guys. You do need that guy. But you got to hit on that guy more than anything else, right? So if you're going to spend, and when you're going to spend, Steve Yzerman will spend that $9-10 million. It's just that he's going to spend it on the guy that he wants to. And I don't think that guy is in this draft, right? So he's going to maneuver. And along the way, like what... As other teams, and I look at the list, you know, where Colorado's re-signed, you know, Darren Helm to a 1-year, you know, friendly contract at $1.2 million, but then they re-signed a defenseman, Josh Manson, to, you know, a 4-year, $18 million contract. So they retained a guy that could have been a free agent. As all these teams are signing their own guys too, their pockets a little smaller, pockets a little smaller, pockets a little smaller. So the fact that you know that Stevie's going to bring guys in, he has to bring guys in to get up to the floor. But don't worry about what he's doing with it, because he's already got that game plan. And again, I can't say it enough. It's the #Wiser plan. So, you know, you look at the little moves he made, right? It's pretty much like he signed a free agent goaltender in Ville Husso, because he gave away a 3rd rounder, which he got from somewhere else. So you can look at it that way, where he's added, you know, I know it was a trade, but he's added a free agent in that aspect too. So he's really doing moves. And I think this year it's about piecing things together. You know, like not making that big splash because that guy's not there.
That guy's not there.
That guy's not there.
And that's the overriding thing with all this.
It's okay.
And it is okay.
Because when the guy is there, he will get that guy. But maybe he's just making it, maybe he's making the ambiance a little more attractive for that guy, which means putting the pieces in place and going, look, we can develop it. It goes back to Steve Yzerman saying that when you're not a winning team, when you're building, the top guys might not want to come there because they don't want to do that. So if he proves in this season that they're ready to make that step, then one of these top guys who he has his eye on will be like, oh, okay, perfect, let's go.
And remember this too, D-Mac, and I do want to pick your brain on this one. And you're a bit conflicted to this question, so you know, I get it 100%. But there is something to say for that. When you say sweeten the pot a little to make it more attractive to go get your guy, I know how we feel about Detroit and Hockey Town and the banners and, you know, what kind of hockey place this city is. But a lot of time has gone past since it was like that. Those are just the facts.
But I'm not even talking about that.
Yeah, no,
the
I know.
history of it. So what you have to do is right now, with the new coach coming in, with the system he's gonna put into place, people are watching Detroit now. You're not a joke anymore.
Right.
You haven't
but
been
that's
a joke
my point.
since Stevie's been there. So
And
now,
that's my point.
So now you got guys turning their heads going, oh, what are they doing in Detroit? Oh, we got Side or Raymond. Oh, wow. Now they're putting something together. It's more so I look at this free agent. I know back in my day it was a trade, but that's how you got it. But you're looking, when are you ready to add that Brendan Shanahan? Like, when are you ready to add that guy that's going to help you get to the next level? Right? You know, when we look back, big integral part was like it was trades done by us, not so much the free agent signings, although later on with the Brett Halls and the Hassicks and stuff that worked out. But
And the
it's like,
Franz Nielsen's.
no,
I'm kidding.
That didn't work out because that was the wrong era. But that's
Hell no.
but when you see if we know what we have, we know how desolate it's been, but we also know that we're building towards something. That means that other people notice too.
Yeah, so I mean, it is that, but that's kind of my point of the whole, the whole discussion is that's almost a third part that Steve Yzerman's responsible for restructuring. In that, you said, I mean, you do have to sweeten the appearance of Detroit as a free agent destination,
Not as a city.
not as a free agent destination,
right?
And that's where I think we skip over this because I didn't even think about it till I heard somebody bring this up. Where a lot of time has passed since then, and that is something where nearly an entire hockey generation, like you look over the 10 years about as a hockey generation, right? As players come and go, that's a hockey generation because that's a career. You do have to do that. That's a third part that Yzerman's responsible for, is kind of restoring that mystique, that draw of Detroit and Hockey Town. Because the kids coming up now, they don't care, D-Mac. They don't care because they knew Detroit at the end. They know Detroit is always picking in the top 5 of the draft. That's what they know Detroit as. I mean,
right.
Matthew Tkachuk, that's what he knows Detroit as.
Think about this. You're just another Arizona.
You're just another Arizona. Exactly. Like, not as a city or anything like that, but to Matthew Tkachuk.
As the respect that you get throughout the league.
The
now,
juice.
You play
the
hard
juice you
and
have.
stuff like this, but you know what? They don't take you seriously. You're not a playoff team. You're not a team that you're going to have to go through to win. You know? I mean, look at the way it starts with you have to bring the respect back on the ice. You look at the way that, the Leafs fans come into our building and the way that the Leafs, are sort of own us right now. So that's got to change. But
Right.
it's more that perception of what are you going to show me on the ice, and the fact that the reality is when Kenny Holland was in charge, it's the same as how we feel about Alavilla right now, near the end, right? You have. It's not going to change until he changes. Well, when you change that with Steve Yzerman, then you know it's going to change. But Stevie's even saying it doesn't change overnight. And here's the last thing, Neal, on this, is if Steve Yzerman's telling you in an interview, listen, I know, then he's thought about this a year, 2 years ahead. It's put in the pride. If he's narrating it and finally giving you the interview, like, that's the very last straw of telling you guys, because he's already moved forward in his thought process.
And I'm the one, right? I'm the one that sat here yesterday and said, temper the expectations. And that's what I want. I'm not excited by a lot of these guys that are out there. But I will tell you this, D-Mac, as I sit in this chair right now, I'm as excited as I have been. And I didn't think I would get giddy like this, and I'm not giddy because of supposed signing a Copp or anything like that. He can do whatever he wants to do. There are no Franz Nielsen's on this team. He can draft. He can gamble with the draft. He could go out through free agency. He can do what he wants.
How about this? Does this look like, when Steve came in, he was shackled a little bit with the contracts. He's got
a ton.
Right. Right, shackled more, almost straight jacket.
Yeah.
Right, to the reality, talking to you about draft and everything like that. Now he's unshackled, he's free, he gets, he's flying around like...
I'm excited,
He's
man.
flying around like Thanos.
I'm excited,
Right.
and not for today, and not necessarily for this season as being back or anything like that. I like this setup.
You know what? We're going to graduate from hashtag a wiser plan to hashtag a wiser vision. Whoa, we're in the wiser vision mode, Sam Flannel.
Absolutely. And hey, let me tell you a little bit about the fine folks at Gypsy Vodka, the official drink of summer. That's right, Gypsy Vodka produced that. It's the Mulligan. Whether you're out on the golf course or hanging out in the backyard, the Mulligan is calling your name. It's 8%, by the way, so, just be aware. That's what I'm saying. Just be aware. They hit a little different. Let's just say it like that. I know from experience. All right, everybody. I'm just giving you, the playbook that I've lived through with the Mulligan and Gypsy Vodka. Don't forget about the classic Gypsy Vodka as well. Everything made in Petoskey, local state of Michigan guys, a state of Michigan company. Let's go, everybody. Ask for it. Buy name at the store. Gypsy Vodka, everybody. As always, drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Ciabattas, summer salads, and dip shakes. All at Big Boy. Try a chicken club, chicken cordon bleu, or sunrise ham and cheddar. All on our grilled ciabatta bread. Or keep it light with our Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad. And don't forget to cool off with a frosty hand-dipped cookies and cream or strawberry shake. You heard it here first. Summer just got better.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club and get access to all the best deals. They'll beat all the competitors' prices by at least $5. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way. Go to chilipepperstanning.com. Find out which one works best for you. It's Chili Peppers Tanning. Back at it, we are off and running. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. NHL free agency starts in less than 30 minutes. Red Wings rumored to be close to announcing a deal with Andrew Copp, the free agent from the Winnipeg Jets, former University of Michigan product. So Sam Flannel approves because he's a big Michigan hockey guy, only eclipsed by his fandom for Michigan baseball the third or fourth weekend in May. If they're still there, that's when he really, really shows out. So he is hyped. We have Chris in for Spencer today. D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, Neal Ruhl with you. Tomorrow on Big D Energy, we will talk to James David Gray, one of the corner guys for our guy, Josh Parisian, UFC heavyweight that won on ESPN. The B2 Fighting Series will be in town in Novi coming up this Saturday. Scorpion Fighting Systems, who he oversees, they have a lot of guys that will be participating in that. They're kind of like the developmental league for MMA, and they will have one of their stops in Novi. So we'll talk to James David Gray. And I know, D-Mac, you can talk about fighting for a very long time.
Yeah, we can talk about it, but this is, no big deal. I'd rather talk about how we're building this team, and
we will.
I like. Everybody's right. The acquiring talented players now, it's putting the right pieces around them, putting the right coaches around them. You look at now development camp, you see pictures on Twitter coming out. You see, Nicholas Cronwall out there on the ice, Danny Cleary, all these guys giving back. So, I agree. I see in the chat thread that if things go well in the consistency, this is a team that could be vying for one of those last playoff spots at the end of the season. So if they're doing that, that means they're playing some exciting hockey. So I'm good with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and that's where it is. I'm not expecting contention to win the division, and of course, as we know, the East is a monster to get through. When you have Tampa and Florida, and the Rangers look like they're for real, even though they'll always find a way to lose because they're the Rangers, and Toronto, the same deal. Toronto's a problem until you get to the playoffs, then they're no longer a problem. That's what's great about being in with Toronto. And, as far as that goes. I did want to change gears a little bit, though, and we are going to get back to it, though. Remember, at noon is when the free agency starts, so when we get confirmation on the Andrew Copp signing, certainly we will pass that along. If there's any other moves, we'll be keeping an eye on all of it. I know there were a couple of trades in the NHL today, well, at least one. I know New Jersey and Boston made a trade. So, that it's that time, and we're talking hockey in the summer, and we can do that in this town. Not even necessarily because it's a quote-unquote playoff team, but because there are options out there for the Red Wings if they want to partake in it. But I did want to touch on Summer League last night. The Pistons had a Summer League game. They lost to the Pacers. But, look, there was no Ivy, no Killian Hayes. Did Isaiah Livers play last night, Chris? He did play?
Yeah.
Okay, so he did play. But, I was hyped for it, but I'll have to admit, I lost a little bit of the juice with that, and
You lost the luster?
Yeah, I did, and I had it on. I had it on like the Sirius XM app. I had it on the NBA radio, but I decided to put together a ping pong table that's been sitting down in the basement for a couple of months instead. So I went.
You chose over Summer League?
I did, yeah, I did. Ping pong table assembly, which was surprising. I was able to pull it off, D-Mac. I'm not
Under an hour?
Yeah, it was. I was stunned. No one was more stunned than me.
Wow.
I'm not very fine motor skilly. I'm more of a talker.
How great of an accomplishment?
I felt good, man. Like, I felt hype after it.
I did. I remember when I put the one Christmas I put together one of those little ATV toy cars for. I put it together myself. That was the most accomplished I ever felt. Probably took me 4 hours, but yeah, you and I are not really inclined to
mechanically.
Mechanically, I leave that to my wife. She taught me.
So do I.
She taught me how to change a tire and change brake pads and stuff.
My problem is I can't follow when you have like 30 steps. I ain't about that life, man. And that was the thing with the ping pong table. There were 6.
You're like the owl with the Tootsie Pop. 1, 2.
yeah, absolutely.
30 there. Okay, this. Yeah, we did this. We did this. All right, put it all together.
Yeah,
how many pieces were left?
None, as a matter of fact.
No.
I used them all.
That's crazy.
I used them all.
Wow. See, usually I end up with a couple extras.
And originally, I was hype originally because all the parts were there to be used. I don't know what it is about me. When I buy something, there's always a missing part. I never get that luck of the draw. There's always a missing part.
Wow, big day yesterday.
It was huge, man. And I was hype. I would put it up there with. It wasn't quite to this level. But I would put it up there with
childbirth.
No.
Oh, okay.
Lawn mow day. When you get a good edge on the lawn and everything like that, and I sit out on the deck and have that post lawn mow beer.
Yeah.
I would put it was in that ballpark.
So,
I will say
you were saying you felt you deserved a post ping pong table resurrection whatever beer. You needed a beer after that one. Stare at your table.
Right. So I was hype about that. But anyway, I digress. I was not hype about the Summer League matchup once I heard who was not playing. But in honor of the NHL free agency day today, I tasked our new guy, Chris, who's in for Spencer Raxter today. He's a big NBA guy. I tasked him with this because I saw on the bottom lines and saw on The Athletic and all around Twitter, the Utah Jazz have kind of done a 180. And they are open for business now on Donovan Mitchell. And I know people here always will have a fondness for Donovan Mitchell from a negative perspective. I understand that. But I've said this, Chris and D-Mac, you guys know this. When the Pistons go to get their quote-unquote big fish, it will be through the trade market. That's the way it has to come. And I think Troy Weaver recognizes that. We see that with the moves he's made. And acquiring cap space and dead contracts and stuff like that. You play the part of Troy Weaver, okay? I'll be Jazz management. And Sam Flannery, you can jump in on this too. Make me trade you Donovan Mitchell. Make me trade you. Now keep in mind, this is pretty much my last functional piece if I'm the Utah Jazz. I have to maximize my return on Donovan Mitchell because we're changing the course. We're changing the direction of this Jazz team. So make me trade you Donovan Mitchell.
Well, it starts with here's what we have to offer. We start.
Well,
with
the numbers got to
picks.
match up before 30-ish million.
Yeah, 30 million, but we have a $20 million trade exception that we can kick you.
Okay.
Plus the contracts of, and Pistons fans are not going to like this, but again, this you have to, for Donovan Mitchell, you have to include, I know the new golden boy, the new toy that everybody's obsessed with, but Jay Nivey and Sadiq Bey got to be in that trade with 4 picks. And then cap relief, and then you sell them on cap relief because you still got Mike Conley's contract you're paying for. You got Bogdanovich. You got a lot of money still tied up in this team that, let's be honest, is a tanking team. So we can give you some financial flexibility, which, as we've seen in Detroit, is the best way to start a rebuild or a key part to a rebuild, and that you can use that $20 million exception to get more assets, and you get 2 young guys that are pretty favorable around the league. But honestly, that's probably the best that Pistons can do, and I don't think Pistons fans want to do that. But
And
this is Troy Weaver.
Judging by the YouTube chat thread, right? I've never seen. Check that right now.
Yeah,
I've never seen this
Can I
before.
do it? I got nope. Well said. Wouldn't. No freaking way. Never. Nope. Nope. Hell no. Never would do that. Hell no. I hate this. Stop it.
I've never seen that before.
You just absolutely alienated me on my first day.
No. That was you playing Troy. I thought from the task at hand, and I was there when Neal asked you before the show.
I was impressed, actually.
I was really impressed because actually, and you tell me, but you know what? That would probably be what would even
in a real world.
In the real world, he took it seriously, and you said that, which goes to show you, I guess the conversation is, do you agree that with the direction you're headed as a Piston? See, Donovan Mitchell had to be that end-all, be-all to get you to where you wanted to go, and I tend to look at it like the chat thread and say, no, I'm not willing to give up those early pieces because I think there might be something there. You bring up a great point, though, right? Because you're talking about what you know versus what you don't know. You have an idea on Bay, but you don't know on Ivy. You know on Mitchell. Yeah. That is why the conversation. So before I get it why, and you're not getting killed. You're getting killed, I think, because people don't want to see it. But in the annals of management and salary cap and the stuff that Neal's always talking about, I think you brought up, you tell me, Neal, because that sort of brings respect as a general manager that you brought to the table. Right?
No, absolutely. I was actually stunned because I thought you were going to do the whole I'll give you Olnick and Nerlens Noel, and I'll give you 2 first-round picks. That's what I thought you were going to say.
He came with the sort of the win-win that sort of would be like, well, wait, I got to look at this from both sides. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I give you a lot of credit, man. And look, people are saying shut his mic off and stuff like that. No, I give Chris a lot of credit because he made me think about that. And if I'm Utah management,
because what's the biggest thing you were thinking about? Your cap relief,
100%.
How to restart, to forget the players. You're thinking, and you made a great point. And when you threw it in there and said, as we've learned in Detroit, it starts with getting your cap right, which is the conversation that they know for a tanking team is what they're trying to get. So is it more important? Not to what you're getting into return, but on the to get the books right. So if that's a priority for the team you're trading with, no matter who you're trading with, that's an incentive there. Oh, by the way, I have a $20 million incentive. Like Neal, that's huge too. That's almost like a player, right? You know what I'm saying? That $20 million relief.
No, it is. And I do want to continue the discussion when we come back here on Big D Energy. But let me tell you about the Sports Marketing Agency. Remember their podcast called This is the F Word. It's a series on fentanyl and really, other addictions and stuff, quite frankly, that is plaguing our community as we speak. And remember, if you're struggling, if you know somebody else who's struggling with said problems, go to thesportsma.com. Again, thesportsma.com, the Sports Marketing Agency. They're here to help.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Detroit's downtown summer playground is back. Open all summer long, the Monroe Street Midway. Enjoy roller skating, free Wi-Fi, food trucks, art installations, and so much more. Don't forget to take advantage of the basketball court, putt-putt, and, of course, family programming all summer long. All art installations are done by Detroit artists, and it's a fun, safe event from people 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Hey everybody, it's Chris doing Fulling Warehouse. Now, Fulling Warehouse is in Hamtramck, is home of the original football bowling game. 2 ways to play: unlimited open play or $120 a lane reservation for up to 10 people. They got a $2 mystery beer machine. You pop in $2, you get out a great beer. It's a great deal, trust me. I'll do it every day of the week. And a full bar. Check it out at fullingwarehouse.com. Once again, that's at fullingwarehouse.com. Tell them.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren, McCarty. We have Chris, we have Sam Flannel here in the building. And yes, it is NHL free agency. We will tap back into that as we pull up on the second hour of the show. But it got me going a little bit when I saw the news that the Utah Jazz are looking to trade Donovan Mitchell. And it's funny to me how everybody's kind of done a 180 on Donovan Mitchell around here. It was universal hate for the dude, right? Yeah. But it wasn't even a year ago. Everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe we didn't draft Donovan Mitchell." Which way do we want it here? And I tasked Chris and Sam Flannel. Now, Sam Flannel, I want to hear your trade package. And basically, I'm playing the part of Jazz management. And here's where I'm coming from with it. Next year, not this season upcoming, but the next season after that. If I'm Utah, I have Donovan Mitchell and Mike Conley still under contract for around $57 million. And the Utah Jazz, I think, are in a dangerous purgatory right now where holding pat does nothing but hurt you further because you're either ascending or you're tearing down, one of the two. So I believe they do have to move Donovan Mitchell, and they do have to do it quickly. And a $30 million guy, you got to throw in some dead weight contract to make that work. I am surprised. And look, you cannot like what Chris had to say in terms of what it'll take to get him, but that is along the lines of what it'll take to get him. Now that I think Chris's package does a little more in the tangible player side. You could mix and match, I think, with like future draft assets and stuff like that. Like you can work that, you can massage that a little bit. But that is the business I'm in if I'm Utah. That's what it's going to take. I'm surprised by the universal hatred of Donovan Mitchell by Pistons fans.
Everybody wants him until you have to pay for him.
And that's it. That is it. So, Sam Flannel, I give you the floor. Now, you play the part of Troy Weaver. Make me trade you Donovan Mitchell.
Well, let me just defend the Pistons fans and the whole Donovan Mitchell thing first of all. We drafted Luke Kennard instead of him, and the Pistons, they could have had him as a draft pick. That's the whole issue. They'll never get over it, and I don't blame them. It was a bad pick. And second of all, what it would take to get Donovan Mitchell, I'm not going to lie. The Pistons don't have it, and if they do, it would decimate their team. So I'm actually not going to answer. I would say they'd have to give up a guy like Jaden Ivey, maybe even a Darren, a Sadiq Bey, first-round picks, maybe a Killian, Beef Stew. I'd be okay with getting rid of them, by the way. But just an amazing haul of players and draft picks. And I don't think that Donovan Mitchell is worth kind of decimating a lot of your core and your future draft capital for.
Sam Flannel just said that he is not picking up the phone.
So when they call
or answering the phone call when the Donovan Mitchell's people call. He wants none of it. He likes his teams. Is that more too because, Sam, you like where your team's at and you want to see more to it? Or is it more too, in the Donovan Mitchell case, you know what you're going to get?
I mean, I would be okay with picking up the phone call and trying to swindle them. They would have to be really stupid to like give up a terrible package. But yeah, it's definitely more, I like our direction. I don't want to decimate the core, and Donovan Mitchell is not worth it. Donovan Mitchell is a great player, but not a superstar.
Leads me to my question. Is there somebody out there that is?
Not that's available.
So there you go. Wow. So when we talk about the Pistons and we talk about the Red Wings in the same sort of ilk like LCA, that maybe that guy out there that you're going to mortgage your future or do anything to that level isn't out there yet for either one of them. Hence to what it is, to the conversation. So I agree. And what I like to see is that it tells me that no matter what, people want to see more of what this young core here in Detroit can do.
Yeah, Lane Hartman. And look, people are defending Chris a little bit here. Lane Hartman says, we know that he's just answering the question. Wasn't saying that that's what the Pistons should do. He's correct, and also correct in that we shouldn't do it, as D-Mac brought up earlier. Donovan Strong says, don't shut this man's mic off. He told the truth on what it would take to get Donovan Mitchell, LOL. So, there are people that do understand it. I have this here from Bill Niza that says, don't we want Ivy to basically be a bigger, better, non-dip-ish version of Spider? Kind of like we wanted Darren to turn into a better version of Ayton. We basically traded Grant for the 13th pick. We could have done sign and trade Grant for Ayton. I don't think you even get involved with this. And I'm not calling for it by any means. I'm just saying I think Troy Weaver suspects and knows if the Pistons are going to go this route to get an all-star, it will come in the trade market, guys. It will.
Yeah, it has to. It has to be the trade market. That's why you build all these picks and all these young players, because truth be told, all these players we like now because they're on a rookie contract, but when you have to pay Beef Stew, when you have to pay Killian, when you have to pay Sadiq, when you have to pay, we're looking at it with Donovan Mitchell. There are people around the league that don't like Donovan at $30 million, even though he's a good player. There's questions of, how good, where can he be on a team that's super successful? Is he year one? Is he year two? What do you have to have around him? How easy or difficult is it to construct a roster? So for the Pistons, Pistons fans want things to play out with the young guys, and I think that's a good strategy. But you spoke to it with Jaden Ivey and Darren, wanting Darren to be Ayton and wanting Ivey to be Donovan. The thing is that we don't know that they're going to be, and that's a tough position that every GM always faces, is potential versus reality, because there's going to be right now. Let's say Jaden Ivey, his value around the league is very high. People like him. People think he's going to be a dynamic guard in the future. Maybe in a couple of seasons, he doesn't look that way. Like with Killian. Killian, his draft comp was James Harden. I think that was ridiculous. Yeah, but there was teams around the league that really liked Killian. And now a couple years later, we see, okay, he's a nice guy. Everybody would like to have Killian. You need that kind of third guard off the bench that can play, make, and defend. But he's a role player now. He's not a star. So that's the risk. That's a risk reward that every GM has to face, is when do you cash in the chips? But you're 100% right that Detroit has to do it by trade.
And here's the other thing too. And I was listening to some NBA people talk actually on the way in this morning, and they did some interesting research where I forget what the exact number is. So you have to forgive me on this, but this just gives you an idea of how things are going. Since they redid the CBA and introduced the Supermax contract, where they shorten the term but raise the money because owners always need to be protected from themselves because they were signing, Juwan Howard was like the highest paid guy in the NBA when he was, 2 years from retiring, because they could never stop themselves. But I believe there's been 18-ish Supermax contracts signed since they redid the CBA. Only 4 of those players have finished that contract with the team that they signed with. This is the way that it goes. Yeah.
Wow. Hey, so way to protect yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, you didn't even protect yourself. Would you put a seatbelt on with dental floss? I mean, they still can't protect themselves. That's such a true statement, though. Allegedly, Brett Burns, the big bearded defenseman making tons of money with San Jose, allegedly was traded to Carolina. I haven't confirmed it yet, but Yeah, so we're 5 minutes away from noon, and whether it's trades or signings, it's gonna be active here for the rest of the day.
Mr. Burns did his best Neal Ruhl, huh?
Yeah, he did.
Give me the bag.
Well,
I don't care where we
go. He had the bag, and now it's interesting. This goes when I bring up San Jose because that's Mike Greer. His first year with San Jose and all this stuff. So they got money to be moved. They got Eric Carlson, stuff like that, the Logan Couture. They got some money issues, hurdle on their end too. So it's always interesting because at the end of whatever free agency it is, it's interesting because you have to go in and see where will the wings be compared to the floor of the cap. Where are other teams at? Who is Stevie looking at to put on a short list to make calls to alleviate some pain with their salary cap? So here we go. They call it the silly season for a reason.
No, it is, and we are getting ready to get deep into it. But I thought that was an interesting discussion because I do want to prep people too. When you do make these, you are going to have to give up something to get something at some point, whenever that day comes. Mm-hmm. So just everybody be prepared for that. But it's one of those things where I asked the guys to come correct. Chris came correct, and you made me think about that. You did, and I didn't immediately dismiss that. You didn't tell me, hey, I'll give you. I'll give you Olynyk and Nerlens Noel and beef stew and Killian Hayes and a first-round pick.
G League triple-double machine, Saban Lee.
You interested?
I could also sweeten the deal.
You interested?
Go Cruz.
Yeah. yeah.
If you twist my arm.
You sweeten the pot a little bit there. No, but you didn't come with that because that's not realistic, man. I do have to say, as the honorable Utah Jazz GM, I would work the phone lines on that. I would for sure. Like I would say, okay, now let me go see what else is popping out here. But you didn't make me hang up on you. I will say that. So that is pretty, that is pretty impressive, D-Mac.
Pretty impressive. And before the silly season starts, you know what you need. Or if you want, there's 168 of them. We'll tell you about them every day all across this great country. Yes, Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, where you can walk in, sign in, sit down. Before you know it, boom, King's Treatment, looking all fresh and new, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Lady Jane's, walk in anytime. Why? It's wicked awesome. Tell them Big D Energy sent you, Woodward Sports Network. We'll be right back. Free agency season. Let's go!
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Neal Ruhl here for OddsTrader.com, the #1 site for all of your game day bets, play-by-play updates, live scores, and the best price on every game from multiple sports books. Probably the most valuable part of this service. You got a game you like? Go find out where you can get the best price. Seems pretty simple to me. Go to oddstrader.com right now to find your best bet. Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We have Sam Flannel. We have our guy Chris in for Spencer Raxter as well. And, it is. We're getting down to that time here. The free agency has officially kicked off in the NHL, so we certainly will keep you up to date. Of course, Andrew Copp, the rumor for the Detroit Red Wings. And remember, too, the Red Wings do have to get to the floor, the NHL salary floor. They're about $10 million away, $9-ish million away from the salary floor. You have to spend at least $61 million on players per the NHL bargaining agreement. So even if they do make a signing or two, it's not anything where they're going to go crazy or hamstring themselves long term, because I do think that you will see the Red Wings, D-Mac, I do think you will see them weaponize cap space again. The old Nick Leddy play. I think we'll see that again in some form or fashion.
Absolutely, because until you're there with your final team where you're at the other end of it, you're still, because that's about acquiring assets, and obviously assets that can help your team out. That's what makes Steve. You mentioned it yesterday, Neal. When you make a bad signing, right, especially NHL, it'll have double effect, right? It'll have two worse effect on you. The same thing is when, to the opposite effect, when Steve Yzerman makes these signings for these guys that are sort of on the contracts for 2 years to sort of fill the void. It's not like they've come to purgatory and that's the end all be all. He's shown that in the past with Nick Leddy, that he's kept it and it can be valuable and get draft picks back, right? That's why I said it's like the cheapest way to get some sort of free agents. And when you work out the trade, he's done it with third round picks the last 2 years for goaltenders. So he's always thinking, always moving, and I think that's the one thing that Steve Yzerman has, and what makes Steve Yzerman 1919 so great, right, is that it's like the Scotty Bowman effect, where he's literally like 2 or 3, 4 moves ahead. He knows what he has to do, what he has to prepare for down the road. I know the way this guy's mentality is he's got it sort of played out in his mind the way it's supposed to go for the next 2, 3, 4 years, right? He had it played out in his mind how it went last year, and guess what? It didn't go as planned for him. The second half of the season, we had regression. So what did he have to do? He made the changes that he feels necessary, and that was the coach. Now it's with the players. It's always it's not black and white, Neal. It's always ongoing, and Steve Yzerman is the ultimate chef, that sometimes he's got to add a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that, but he knows what he wants to do. We're along for the ride, and as I see it, you look at different things. That first rounder just signed his entry level 3-year contract. Those, you might think that's a little thing, well, of course, but you watch other teams that sometimes don't sign their first round picks. So it's all part of the process, and now we'll see if Andrew Copp is going to be a Red Wing like it's speculated, and who else will be. I mentioned a guy yesterday from Dallas, and John Klingberg, who's you heard that there's some interest with Detroit, and I said at the money, it's probably not, unless Stevie believes he's the guy to help move to the next level. So all these guys, there's a reason, and always in the back of the mind is Stevie's got, Neal, to your point, if they don't work out, or if the team doesn't work out, if we're not further along, what can I do, like as far as to sort of cover my rear end? And that's what he did with Leddy last year. So it's just all part of being of competency at that position.
Yeah, and again, I know that the rumors are flying around of who's being signed and everything like that. Did just get confirmation the Oilers have signed Jack Campbell to a 5-year deal for $25 million. And you were the one, D-Mac. And look, the Oilers are kind of my team B. I'm a Connor McDavid slappy. Does that move the needle for you at all?
The Evander Kane, yeah. Well, obviously.
Well, Jack Campbell, yeah.
So Jack Campbell doesn't move the needle. No, it puts it in the same sort of.
That's my feeling too.
Is it an upgrade from Mike Smith? Yes. Is it that much of an upgrade to get you to the promised land? I don't know. I like Jack Campbell better than Darcy Kemper. He just won a cup. So, but the Edmonton Oilers aren't the Colorado Avalanche. So, I mean, how about best available? You went out and got the best available goaltender, arguably. So
yeah, I mean, I guess that's a way. I guess that's a way to look at it.
That's where they're at. That's where they're at. So again, let me ask you. That's your second team. Does it move the needle for you?
It's better, but I mean, is that gonna? Are you gonna beat?
Well,
are you going to beat Colorado with that?
They're going by losing in Game 7 last year, and
Yeah.
if the difference is Jack Campbell could have won that Game 7, that's what they're sort of thinking. You know what I'm saying? So it's come down to it. Is this the last? I put clocks on everybody. This clock's got to be expiring on Edmonton, doesn't it?
You would think so.
Well, but again, Kane signs 4 years.
See, and that's what it is. Again, and I know this isn't Edmonton sports here, Rogers plays sports or anything like that. I understand that, but it's Ken Holland doing
different
the Ken Holland things.
Mentality of doesn't it seem like hanging on, trying to extend it out. So this run, it seems like how can it not go longer? Doing the same things that he did here in between, in the teens. You're talking about that 10 years of ineptitude. So he's got more talent to work with over there.
Yeah, and so Kane gets $5 million a year, at 31 years old. And did he play well? Yeah, he played very well for them. He was a central part of them getting better. But it's Ken Holland, man. Like, he is running his same playbook, it seems to me.
I'm just happy with the playbook, the guy that we have.
Yeah, but with 1919.
1919.
No, but we are keeping track of all of it right now. It is absolutely going crazy with what they're saying, but I still haven't heard anything official with the Andrew Copp stuff. But it does speak to, in this on-demand society we're in, D-Mac, where we're all kind of like frantically searching around right now and seeing what's going on. We want it right now, man.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just like looking at the clock here. It's 7 minutes after. Come on, man.
Where is it?
I got one new. What am I looking at? The wrong thing? Who's got it? I got it on Twitter. I got it on the tweeter. I got tsn.ca up. I got everyone. I'm tweeting, my boy Steve Coolius. I'm asking Mike Rupp and Shane O'Brien. Hey, boys, what's going on? You got any scoops? Let's go. Fill me in. Working the wires. This is what it's called. Working the lines. I feel like Schefter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We are going to get into some Lions, too, in the second hour. And I have a Tigers thing that I do want to discuss. And we are going to keep our eyes on it if something breaks. When news breaks, D-Mac, we will break in because that's the way that it works here. But, it's one of those things where is this, too, like the Giroux thing? People talk about Giroux to Ottawa?
Yeah, that was the speculation that they're the front runners in Ottawa and stuff like this, so... Yeah, I don't understand
Ottawa's
some
making
of it.
moves, man.
Well, and trying to get in the mix of things. But you nailed it, right? At the end of the day, the East is a beast. The East is a beast. That's why you got to build it and get there. And then when you get there, you know who I like out of the East who's built really well. That's gonna probably make the noise and step up is the Rangers. Right, the Rangers with what they have and with that youth, obviously with Adam Fox on defense, Shesterkin in net, Zibanejad, Kreider coming off 50 goals and stuff like that. I don't see them slowing down. Gerard Grant did something there, but that's another team that hasn't been, I guess, on the precipice of being at the top of the Eastern Conference. But that's a team, yeah. It's going to be tough. That's why you have to be battle-proven, battle-ready, because as we saw in the playoffs, that's what it comes down to. It's the grind of this, 6-7 game series.
And yeah, they are talking about it right now that Giroux to Ottawa, and TSN has it at $6.5 million.
See, I don't want to give him that. I'd rather save that for somebody else. That's Dylan Larkin's money or somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, with what Claude Giroux is going to do at his age. And I think that a lot of times now we're looking at what the age is, right? Who do you want to commit to? And it comes down, and I guess in today's day and age in sports where guys take better care of themselves and they can play a little bit longer, right? The new early 30 is maybe the mid-30s, but mids. Still, at the end of the day, Neal, is that do you want to be spending all your money on guys that are 35 and older?
and that is it, too. And basically, I mean, you were starting to question Giroux in terms of production, and all of a sudden he pops off of Florida and has kind of that magical year and cashed in. Certainly did cash in. That was a little south of what I thought he was going to get, but that goes to show you, man, that age. And the age was a deterrent, I think. But Ottawa did get it popping, like pretty much basically overnight. I'll tell you what else is popping. The summer of Cintron, because it's here right now. Cintron available at your local Kroger store as well. You can get 2 Cintrons for just $4. If you haven't tried it yet, give it a spin. Cintron, proud partners of the Red Wings, Pistons, Tigers, Detroit City FC, Little Caesars Arena. Cintron's a new energy drink for the active lifestyle. Drink it. Live it with Cintron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Neal Ruhl here for the Monroe Street Midway. All summer long, Monroe Street Midway is open in downtown Detroit, right next to Campus Martius. You can enjoy basketball, roller skating, mini golf, art, live music, food trucks, and more. A fun, safe environment for everybody, ages 1 to 100. Go to deckedoutdetroit.com. Again, that's deckedoutdetroit.com for more information. Brought to you by Bedrock Detroit and Rocket Mortgage. We're in the midst of it right now. NHL free agency kicked off about 13 minutes ago. Claude Giroux, probably the biggest fish. Is that safe to say, D-Mac, that has come to term? He's D-Mac, Darren McCarty. My name is Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel. We got Chris in the building as well. But Giroux, probably the biggest fish so far to be locked up.
No, definitely. Ilya Samsonov. We saw Jack Campbell, who was in Toronto, went to Edmonton. Ilya Samsonov signed for $1.8 million in Toronto. Former Red Wing Brendan Smith, who's been around, signed a 2-year deal with the New Jersey Devils. So Ruhl guys. So you'll see a lot of that. A lot of smaller contracts going on. Another guy that's interesting, from Tampa Bay and stuff that Stevie knows real well, is Andre Palat. So we haven't heard any rumblings, not just here but anywhere else. So there are some name guys out there that we've mentioned that we're waiting to hear. But some of these guys that you'll see in the first few hours are putting the pieces together, like a Brendan Smith or a backup goalie in a Samsonov. So just got to be just keep the eyes peeled.
Boy, Tammy Chin is our resident hockey insider. The St. Louis Blues agree to terms on a 1-year deal with Thomas Greiss. Samsonov, of course, the goalie, signs with the Leafs next year for just under $2 million. I like Samsonov. I thought that's a pretty solid signing for them. But again, we will certainly keep an eye on it. But they say the Oilers still have $4 million in cap space somehow. I missed who they must have cut to make that happen. Right. So, but they're still paying Lucic $750,000. The Oilers are. So that was a different time. Tigers got a win last night. And as we said, we will go back to it. I'm not talking about the game last night because that did break a 5-game losing streak again. Boy, they're winning 4 in a row against Cleveland. They beat the White Sox a couple times. Everybody's feeling it. They don't win again until Tuesday. Come on, man.
Why are you looking at me? I checked out 2 months ago. Although I did listen to an inning or so driving home when it was 7-3, and then it was 7-5, and then hung on. I did see a great clip that our own Rogelio Castillo, our Tigers guy, posted of Miguel Cabrera's 40th Yes, 40th career steal. That puts him just over in the top 1800s in career stolen bases. He put a choo-choo train to it, right? Stealing third and then coming home on a bad throw. So, you know, what are you gonna do? You know, what are you gonna do? They are what they are. But my frustrating thing, Neal, is just having the conversation, and I get it. You know, I hope we said this yesterday. You got two young guys, Riley Green and Torkelson, which odds tell you, history, that one of them is not going to hit, right? And I get it, the excitement of young guys coming up, but there's nothing else. That's the whole thing, and I just want people to realize that there's no more Riley Greens or Torkelsons or anybody in that aspect. And in fact, I'm still worried about what's going to happen to these guys as far as anybody who does well will be gone. It was great to see Akil Baddoo come back up and get an RBI, and you know that was nice. I mean, it is nice, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I mean,
well, and the reason I bring it up is not to talk. You know, not to talk a win over the Royals. No, and it wasn't even to do that. I mean, granted, it took a Miggy stolen base to beat the Royals, but you know, whatever. You know, bank on that for the rest of the season. Let me know how it goes. Austin Meadows is injured again, by the way, and you know, I know the Isaac Paredes thing. You guys know I'm not putting him in the Hall of Fame by any means. He seems to be on like a Chris Shelton type run right now. Maybe it's sustainable. It's probably not, but. You know, just when you look at it, are you ready to call that trade an L, Sam Flannel? You're a legend killer. You're a hater. You know, is it safe to say that this trade is an L?
For this year, yes. For long term, I'm not ready to call it an L yet. But the people who are defending Austin Meadows at this point, he's shown us absolutely nothing this year, and he's hurt. He's played in 36 games. He has 0 home runs. And I'm not saying that Isaac Paredes has been great. He had a great stretch. He's hit for great power, but he's cooled off a bit and he's come back down to earth. But my problem is that Austin Meadows, he's been practically useless this year. And the fact that he's been injured, that doesn't help him, but he's done nothing. I don't see why there can be any defenders right now when he hasn't shown us anything as a Tiger.
See, and here's the deal. You guys record this, by the way. I'll actually go to bat for Avila on this only. It's not an L yet. It's trending to be an L. It'll probably end up being an L, but it's not an L yet, and here's why. They still do have 2 years of team control with Austin Meadows. So, you know, like I'm not prepared to call it an L yet, D-Mac. Again,
you don't have a safety chute on.
No, but
you didn't jump out. You just got a parachute, right? You don't have the safety chute, right? So you're calling it like you see it too, and I got to accept that, and say that there's but how bad is it if we have to? So we have to wait till the term of the contract plays out to find out? Aren't you making these deals trying to have an immediate effect? That's all I'm saying.
And I saw him working. I saw him working with the contract. I get it. I understand it. I'm not going to call it an L yet, but if you said, now, Neal, flip that on its ear, you got to bet the mortgage payment this month. Will it be an L or no?
Not even that. If you have to risk that second furnace, whoa, not a chance.
I mean,
they're coming in to take it out if it doesn't work out.
Right.
No. You're not going to
No, it's probably going to be an L.
It is.
Like, it probably is. But I don't even want to say give credit where credit is due.
You saw what he was doing there.
I saw the reasoning.
And here's the thing. I liked the move when it was made. I liked the move at the beginning before it did. So you know what? How are you going to get mad at that? You can't have it both ways. So to that point, you can still let it play out, but that's pretty sad when we're trying to say, hey, wait till the end of the contract and maybe it won't be that bad. Hopefully we can get a push.
Right. But I will say, and I won't call it an L yet because he still has 2 years of team control. So, Sam Flannel, you ride with me on that or no?
Yes, that's why I said at the beginning that it's too early to call it an L for like the whole thing. But for this year, I mean, is Austin Meadows even going to play another game this season? It's an Achilles. And it's not like the worst Achilles injury, but that is scary. He's played 36 games, and he's done absolutely nothing. So for this year, absolute L. For the long term, God, I hope Austin Meadows works out, because we were all in agreement that it was a good deal at the time.
Our guy Ryan Lentz is ready to go to war for Austin Meadows here.
He hasn't shown us anything. That's the problem with people like Ryan Lentz. Austin Meadows has done absolutely nothing for the Tigers. He had a great year in Tampa Bay in 2019 and a very good year last year with over 20 home runs and 100 RBIs. But for the Pistons, he hasn't done anything. How can you defend this man right now who's done nothing?
Facts is facts.
Mark Walston says, "Who is Austin Meadows?"
That is the most phenomenal YouTube chat comment I've ever seen. He's right. He's done nothing for the Tigers.
I think the glaring point is obviously with what he's dealing with, whether it's vertigo or the injury or stuff like that, that he's not right, because he has no home runs. Even when he was, hitting the ball a little bit early in the season, he was effective, but again, no availability. And you know what, Mark, that's not being rude, but if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't know who Austin Meadows is.
Even if you were, you wouldn't know, because
true.
There's nothing next to the name in the stat column. Like, even if you were paying attention, you wouldn't know. Mark also says lay off the hot and readies, and maybe, just maybe, they'll start listening. That has no impact on anything that's going on. I like the hot and ready pizza. Real talk. I think it's undervalued in this town as a whole.
I'll tell you this right now, okay? Don't sleep on, at Joe Louis Arena, pizza was awful. Awful. At Little Caesars Arena, you go get that super slice.
Yeah.
You're happy.
You're
You're happy. Good crunch, good bite. It's hot. Fills you up. I'm a
I
big
think
part
people
of it.
sleep on it.
Don't dog the hot and readies.
Rack has jumped into the chat thread. Tigers farm system looks like grocery store shelves during the pandemic.
Yeah, and all we want is toilet paper to wipe our butts.
What about this? Lewis M. Last night proved why Miggy deserved to be in the All-Star game, Sam Flannel. No one steals bases like Miggy.
Oh, my God. I just love getting those little emotional, tidbits out of the way. So I can tell you that he's 38th in the American League in on-base percentage, 66th in slugging, and 61st in OPS. And, oh, by the way, Ty France, who's a phenomenal first baseman for the Seattle Mariners, is not in the All-Star game. And in the National League, Albert Pujols' corpse is in the All-Star game over Freddie freaking Freeman. Rob Manfred, that is a joke. You should not have a legends getting into the All-Star game who are terrible now. It shouldn't happen. You're taking people's spots.
You're not taking people's spots when it's the
They added a spot.
commissioner's freaking appointed thing to charity for the game. Freddie Freeman's going to be around a lot more. He'll make another thing. These guys weren't even up. My understanding, they weren't even in contention to be appointed. This is the last hurrah. This is baseball going, these are your last two guys. It ain't right. When are you going to learn, Sam? Life ain't fair, baby.
Oh, my God.
Fair. Maybe Miggy will steal one.
Southpaw Slabs. Bobby Bonilla has done more for the Mets the last 20 years than Austin Meadows has done for the Tigers. And you know what? That's probably true, because it keeps the Mets' name in the news cycle every July 1st. Even when they were terrible, people still talked about it.
How long are they still paying that man?
I think 13 more years.
Bobby Bonilla has one of the best
contracts
positions
of anybody in the history. Defer. Look at that. You want to talk about a contract hamstringing? How would you like to? We got this on the books for 30 years.
Well, hey, people were talking about Bernie Madoff and how he swindled everybody and things like that. Bobby Bonilla swindled them.
He did it legally,
but
too.
he did it legally. That's a difference.
Themselves, right? I think they got themselves. I just, new ownership and different things like that. When they come in and look at the books, I guess it's just like any, going into another company and figuring out, holy cow, right? You can't be high. That's why the Mets are a good investment.
That's true. Rack says, speaking of bad contracts, I seen this morning the Knicks finally paid off Joakim Noah today.
Wow.
There are some great ones out there. We'll be saying that about Justin Ablocator in 2025 when they're still paying him over $1 million. That's the Red Wings version of Bobby Bonilla, is Justin Ablocator. What's that?
The summer segment for sure.
Oh yeah,
the contracts the worst contracts are still being paid off.
That could be the name of the bit. Yes, yeah. They're still getting paid.
Yeah,
we should. That'll take some legwork, but I think we will have to do that. Frank Daniel says, a lot of people sleep on the pepperoni cheese bread with the jalapeno cheese dip at Little Caesars, too. No cap. I'm a big fan of no cap.
No kizzy?
I won't go that far. No cap's better. Like, it's got a pop at the end. No cap.
I like that.
Yeah. No kizzy, I'm not feeling that.
Kizzy's, that's more me than you, but it's okay.
That's more me than you. Okay. All right, I like that one. D-Mac, Bobby Bonilla with all that money needs a guardian, I think.
Oh, absolutely. Or he is the guardian. We don't know. But you know Guardian Alarm. They keep you safe, give you peace of mind, whether you're at home or on the road, with their 24/7 local monitoring straight from your phone. So if you want to be like Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, give Guardian Alarm a call today. That's 1-800.
Stay out.
That's 1-800.
Stay out.
How many straight days?
95.
95 straight days of protecting the flannel. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts. Give them a call today. 1-800.
Stay out. Get out of my house.
Get out of his house. Stay
Hi, my
away.
diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Ribbit, Big Frog here. Get a free Woodward Sports t-shirt. That's right, a free Woodward Sports t-shirt all month long at Big Frog in Novi. Just stop in, tell them that Woodward Sports sent you. They will print you one right on the spot. So go to Big Frog Novi today. Get your free t-shirt or visit them online, bigfrog.com/Novi.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, NHL free agency in full force, I think. I was told, Tammy Chin, man, I was expecting more action in the NHL. The GMs must be working on the deals. It has been I'm disappointed, man. Here we go again, D-Mac. Your NHL. Your NHL. You people you get the ESPN deal, right? And we're hyped to roll. And then you turn on the games and the broadcast is a broadcast.
Are you equating the NFL free agency to the ESPN broadcast right now?
So we had all this. We were all fired up. They're doing fire documentaries on the NHL and ESPN theme song, and we are ready to go. Well, and then they broadcast it, and the broadcasts are just kind of and those were your words.
There's a lot of
you were disappointed.
I was just are you kidding me? I had to turn that off.
Your words. You were disappointed.
Listen, I'd rather go outside and watch neighborhood cats fight.
Okay.
That would be better.
So that was a bust.
So this ain't a bust because it's ongoing. It's, you hear the speculation coming down. It looks like the Rangers are in talks to finalize Vincent Trocheck's 7 years. I saw that teams are extending a lot of their own guys, or re-signing a lot of their own guys too. Robert Thomas re-signed 8 years.
Yes, that is done. Trocheck is done. 7 years, $57 million, so 8.1
average
annual.
8 a year. Good for him, local kid. Again, to the Rangers, he's gonna add some offensive ability and some jam to that forward line. But I think here's the thing: in the first hour, things are just heating up, right? A lot of stuff. So, and a lot of times when we're talking about the big names and the big splashes, there's five. This is usually a big commitment. You see Trocheck, that's 7 years. These are commitments, money by the team, commitment by the players. So who knows? Maybe like your guy Kadri, who's on the golf course, Maybe he's putting for birdie. His phone's in the cart. You don't know.
He hasn't answered it yet.
I'm just saying. He wait till he gets back to the cart. You know, he knows that the call's coming. So maybe this is more on the guys. But as the day heats up, we'll see some stuff.
And we're talking about, obviously, NHL free agency. Ryan's reaction: worst contract ever is Sam Flannel's. So there.
Oh, I saw that one. That's pretty funny. I mean, I may be a little bit overpaid for my takes, but you know what? It's okay. I'm still here and I'm ascending.
Yeah. Lane Hartman says, I'm glad we didn't go Trocheck. I do not want him for 7 years. Woo. So Ian Cole signed a 1-year deal with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 1 year, $3 million. Kevin Rooney, 2-year deal with Calgary, $2.4 million in total. Brendan Smith signed a 2-year deal with the Devils for $2.2 million. So that is what we have so far.
Here's, let me go through a couple. So you still got Johnny Gaudreau, Nazem Kadri. You got Andre Palat. That'll be interesting because he's, playoff performer. You got John Klingberg, the D-man. You got Darcy Kemper, the goalie. David Perron, St. Nino Niederreiter. Obviously, Andrew Copp. Ryan Strome's another one. So there's still some interesting guys out there that... you got to understand, too, what if you tell me, Neal, that if you're an agent right now, how do you not know you don't have 3 teams on the phone, on the go? So you got to, he's giving me this. So Detroit just came back with this. What are you coming back with? So we're underway. It'll get done. It's just a matter of when.
Man, Trocheck got all that money.
Yeah, but you knew it. So if he got all that money, Kadri's getting all that money.
But that's the starting point.
Right. He's 9.5. I'm thinking Kadri's 9,
okay.
63, something like that. So
well, all right, then, D-Mac, then let's get into it, okay? Let's get into it, and I'm going here.
Go.
So, and you guys, too, be ready for this. If Trocheck is a 7-year, $8 million a year guy, if Kadri is 9.5, right?
Yep.
What's Dylan Larkin?
Dylan's going to make 8 being here. We're on the market, maybe depending on whatever, like 7.5, 8. Not the hometown discount, but he's right up there between $7 and $8 million, dollars as you're leading your team. You know what he is? He's what Steve Yzerman says he is. But he's not going to hamstring and hurt your team. I look at over to Pittsburgh, and they're in a different situation because they won and they got guys at the end of their careers. But they're all, and I don't know what Sid's number is, but you look at Malkin and Letang at $6 million. So they've left money out there, not taking all usually at the end of the career like a Cabrera with all the money going to your best guy. They're leaving some in there. I think that it's the bigger picture thing. I think that the biggest conversation is what do you do with Tyler Bertuzzi?
And that was going to be my follow-up question.
So I think as far as Dylan Larkin's concerned, that's just a matter of whether it's 7, 7.5, 8. It's a 5, it's a 6, 7, 8 year. It's a longer term, along the lines of Stevie. Now Bertuzzi's the question because the Trochecks, the Kadris are more into that role of Tyler Bertuzzi. Now Tyler Bertuzzi, to be effective on your team, should probably be your $5 million, $5.5, $6 million guy, right?
But he's a 30-goal guy, though.
But that's what I'm saying. So
that's a premium.
Okay, so if you want, so then you're gonna add to it, right? You're gonna exhaust all the conversation. So if that is, then the money that, we got to see what Stevie does here. And all this conversation we're having plays into the recipe that he's baking, even when we're going out to get Copp. So what? It's also to incentive. What are guys incentivized by? Is it the bag? Is it winning? Is it being here? Is it being part? Guys' motivations are different. So,
and we do have confirmation now. Andrew Copp has signed with the Detroit Red Wings, 5 years, $28.1 million, 5.6 annual cost for Andrew Copp. So he is in the fold. It is official, signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah, good. Congratulations. Welcome to the Detroit Red Wings, Andrew Copp. We're excited to see what number you're going to wear. If you want to put some goals in 25, have at it. There you go. No, that's So there at Copp at 5.6, where does that put Bertuzzi? Copp,
that's my thing, guys.
So $6 million, right? Is he
you notice?
But no,
here we go. We're going up and we're going up.
But we're not. But what you're going up. But you're going up small incrementally when you got your top guys. When you don't tell them, what's your highest paid guy? Who's your highest paid guy going to be on this team when you're going to win? Who it's going to be?
Well,
it should be Sider.
Oh yeah,
it should be Sider.
The road, sure.
Should be having your Hedman contract, and that's the guy who gets the big money, right? Everybody else until then is going to be 6, 7, 8. How do you mix it around? Right? The conversation now would be, wouldn't your conversation as Detroit's trying to get to the floor, figure out a way if you want to be here to have that extended contract at whatever else. So what I'm trying to say is that if Andrew Copp got that with the player he is, Tyler Bertuzzi's right around there, if not more, right? $6 million. So, but then again, is he that guy? Then there's other questions that go into it, right? So again, it comes down to the personal players. But as far as Copp goes, every Red Wing fan should be very, very, very happy. And so with this contract, what it tells you, 5 years, right, is Steve Yzerman is pretty much saying you're part of winning this next championship. You're going to be a part. That's why you look at clockwise and whatever. So get your Copp jerseys or wait to get them or whatever. But here's a guy that Steve Yzerman's looking at to be a part of this winning culture.
And here's the thing for me. Copp wins face-offs. It's a pet peeve of mine. I talk about that with D-Mac off the air a lot. We don't really get into it a ton on the air. My biggest
possession in the
my
NHL.
biggest problem with the Red Wings right now, they never win a face-off in their own zone, man. At least it seems that way. You know what I'm saying? And especially, I look back to the games I went to this year. I went to opening night against Tampa. I went when they played Colorado, and I forget what other game I went. But the reason those teams are good, as you said, D-Mac, puck possession, which starts with winning a face-off. Give me somebody that can win a face-off. And as somebody said on our YouTube chat thread a little while ago, you can't get scored on when you have the puck. So,
it's true.
The first step in getting the puck is winning the face-off.
Absolutely.
Bad teams lose face-offs. Good teams win face-offs. It's really weird how that works out, isn't it, D-Mac?
It really is. But, so that lets you know. What I would say is when you hear speculation when it comes to the NHL or rumblings of what's going on, a lot of times there's more truth to it. So keep your ears out. I don't think Stevie's done making moves. That would probably be maybe his biggest move, but maybe not. Like I said, if the rumor is of how much he likes Klingberg to see what he's at, there's a possibility. So.
Patrick Blake on our YouTube chat thread. 6 years ago, these good deals. Milan Lucic, 7 years, $42 million. Andrew Ladd, 7 years, $39 million. Louis Eriksson, 6 years, $36 million. Franz Nielsen, 6 years, $36 million. David Backes, this is one of my favorite ones, 5 years, $30 million. Remember those good deals. That's pretty entertaining. Pretty entertaining.
Well, you don't want to get hamstrung to that conversation, right? That's what you're. Should have said, here's an example of those contracts that you'll sign that will double reverse hurt you, right? Will hurt you more ways than one to try to get out from underneath them. So, but again, I look at those contracts, none of them were Steve Yzerman's. That ain't in his bag.
100%. Yeah, which I do.
That's
separate
why 5
those.
years at 5.6 where people might see it, but you just got to look at it that, wow, my initial is, Stevie really likes this kid. Really likes this kid. Has big plans for this.
Yeah.
There's big plans for this. And the fact that maybe, he's in the backyard of Michigan Center, stuff like this, there's pedigree to it along the lines. Remember our last Michigan Center? He could win faceoffs too. Luke Glendening.
Yeah, I do remember. And Andrew Copp, hey, congratulations. You're now Detroit Red Wing. Speaking of big things, you could pull up on Big Boy if you're a Ciabatta fan. Huh? You could. I'm just saying that you could. Ciabatta, summer salads, hand-dipped shakes, all at Big Boy. Try Chicken Club, chicken cordon bleu, or a sunrise ham and cheddar. all on our grilled ciabatta bread. A sunrise ham and cheddar on grilled ciabatta. Tell me you wouldn't smash that. You can't. You can't say it because you know you would. Or you can keep it light with the Michigan apple, chicken Caesar, or Greek salad and cool off with a nice hand-dipped cookies and cream shake or strawberry shake. Who says no? Nobody says no. You heard it here first. Summer just got better at Big Boy. Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome. Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Back at it, coming on the stretch. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal, Ruhl, D-Mac, Darren McCarty. We have Chris in for Spencer. We have Sam Flannel as well. We have action in the NHL. Finally, I was really getting ready to crack on the NHL there, man, about the comparisons with the ESPN deal and it falling flat. But finally, we're moving. So that's good, D-Mac. You people.
Wow, your patience, Raul. You just can't have patience and resilience. Right now, things are starting to move and stuff like that.
Things are starting to move.
You know what that is? That's just the phone lines are backed up.
All right, that's what
Blame
it was.
Bettman's NHL that he can't get the information out to the people in time. Do not blame
the
game itself.
Okay, I got you. No, I got you. Andrew Copp, official with the Detroit Red Wings. If you're just joining us, 5 years, $28.1 million.
And here's if you follow Jake Rivard for the NHL, and this is coming from Rangers and Jets fans, Copp is like a Swiss Army knife, can play up and down the lineup. Incredibly versatile, both ends of the ice, really showed his stuff last year. The versatility, I guarantee, is what attracted Steve Yzerman, and especially with guys that we're not talking about, last year's draft pick, this year's draft pick that will be coming down the pipe in a few years. So you want a guy that can get paid that money but also play in numerous roles.
And Copp was a fourth-round draft pick back in the 2013 draft out of the University of Michigan last year. 72 games played combined with Winnipeg and the New York Rangers. 21 goals, 32 assists. He had 53 points, was a plus 15. The biggest thing for me, won a career-high 377 faceoffs.
That means he's in there a lot.
So that's what it is for
guy,
me.
Big different times and stuff like that. Anybody who cares, former Detroit Red Wing Anthony C. signed in Chicago. There's rumors of, a guy like an Ole Mata. Defenseman, solid guy. He's been around, played in Pittsburgh, played in the Eastern Conference. That's it,
Flippable
guy. That's your Letty.
I know it's coming somewhere because I do got to get to the floor. And for those of you just joining us too, the Red Wings were about 9 to 10-ish million under the salary floor. You have to spend $61 million in the NHL. So moves were going to be made in some form or fashion. But yeah, things are. Walter Briggs wants to know, D-Mac, who was the best at faceoffs on your squads?
Drapes.
Best on the team?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, listen, after the guys who used to go to war, you want to know that the go to war drill after practice was at center ice, pregame skate or whatever, where all the centermen get in there, and then the wingers will get in there too, because if the centermen get kicked out, so we'd practice. But Barry Smith, our assistant coach, would always drop him, and how many times he'd have to wear shin pads because guys would whack him as if he was the ref and stuff like this. But they would get pretty heated out there. But it usually come down left-handed Drapes and right-handed Stevie. So we were, and that was, when it came to Pav, when it came to Sergey, when it came to Z, when it came to all our centermans, that was a huge point of emphasis about puck possession or winning a draw. And us as the grind line, we took so much pride, in the defensive part of the game and winning, taking faceoffs and winning draws and stuff like that on our own end.
Yeah. So, and they are talking about it. I haven't seen it, official confirmed with the Ole Mata thing. So we'll keep an eye on that. But it does sound like that will.
Tammy says 1 year at 2.25, which again is right where you want him to be.
Yeah.
And a guy that's played in this league, if you look up his stats and stuff like that, a durable, more of a defensive defenseman, but definitely veteran presence. Would fit in real well. I see that and I go, they fits in that room.
Some baseball news as well. Charlie Montoyo has been fired by the Toronto Blue Jays, their manager. Blue Jays are 46-42. They've fallen into fourth place.
How does that make you feel?
Fourth place in the American League East.
How does that make you feel?
It tells me they're not playing around.
No, but how does that not just automatically, because you know what, I was going to get upset and just go, what a joke. Even bigger joke. Like slap in the face or whatever. Well, hey, congratulations, Toronto. You care. Chad Cowan, way to go. Your team cares. You know what I'm saying? 4 games over 500 and they fire their manager.
But the problem is, you're 4 games over 500, but you're in the American League East and you're 15.5 out of first place.
But it's still not good enough.
Right. And you're 4 games ahead of the Baltimore Orioles. But it's not good
enough. But I'm just saying it's not good enough. I'm just saying that other teams make moves when moves need to be made.
Well, how about this, D-Mac? They signed him to an extension this year.
And then get rid of him, which means...
They're not playing around. It's not ha-ha, he-he. Fun time.
Like
it's not the GM saying, I'm pleased with the direction that this team's going. They're 46-42. The guy just signed an extension. He got gas today.
That's what I'm saying. So when you look at your organization and it just goes the ineptitude and the joke. What a joke. That's all it is. It ain't getting any better anytime soon here with the baseball club. When other teams, especially other teams in your division and that you're gonna fight for, are making these moves because things aren't acceptable to them. Anyways,
I mean, what do you say to that, dude? I mean, there's nothing to say. Some people aren't playing around, and then others get in front of the camera and say they're happy with the way things are. I'm not naming names. I'm just telling you that's how some people operate, and that's what we're seeing. So. We do have time today, and since he is here, we will do the Ask D-Mac. You can do a free agency version of Ask D-Mac or a trade version of Ask D-Mac if you want. I think that's fun. You're open to that, right, D-Mac?
Open to anything, buddy.
I know you are.
Buddy.
I know you are.
Buddy. As long as you ain't scared of the answer.
Anthony Ciu signs 1 year, $3 million in Chicago.
Still getting paid. Max Domi goes there, too. Guys moving around. Looks like Troy Stetcher, former Red Wing, might be going to Arizona. There's movement being made a lot of times, but this is what you find out when teams are more certain on who they want with the big money. Bing, bang, boom. Hence the Rangers, Trocheck, let's get it done. Hence some of the bigger money that's out there. When they're not sure, they got to go through the due diligence. So waiting to hear on Johnny Gaudreau. Waiting to hear on Nazem Kadri. You expect it to get done today because you expect these talks to have been made and some of the moves that have been made, trades between Boston and Jersey, Eric Haula, and making room for different guys. So I don't think Stevie's done either. And I look for another, Mata deal, another defense guy or a role player guy, that's not going to break your bank, but get you more towards the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. And then again, the 1 year deal, the flexibility, the flippable flexibility as well. And don't get it twisted. That's part of the plan as well. If you're betting on the action, mybookie.com should be part of your plan. Also, the best place to place your bets. Make sure when you sign up, use a promo code Woodward, and MyBookie will match part of your first deposit in free bets up to 50%. You can win big at mybookie.com. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. Have a gambling problem, get your life together, man. Call the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Hey, it's Scott from Woodward Bet Show. Hey, listen, we're starting to draft best balls. We're getting all excited about fantasy football. You guys got to make sure you're checking us out at 4:30. You also got to make sure you're checking out oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and the best place to check all the odds at the sports books right in the palm of your hand. But hey, let's get back to them fun coupons. That's all we want, fun coupons. Listen, we're going to take the Phillies today and Zach Wheeler. Wheeler's only lost one of his last 10 starts. Blue Jays have only won one of their last 10 games. Sounds good to me. Oddstrader.com. Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Back at it here, Big D Energy. Final segment of the show. Time for Ask D-Mac, 4-time Stanley Cup champion. And, hey, let's do a free agency / trade edition of Ask D-Mac. So fire in your questions about that. And somebody way earlier in the show, D-Mac, asked about going to Calgary.
Well, yeah, so I saw that. I wasn't traded to Calgary. What happened is after the lockout season of 04-05, where we lost the season and the salary cap got implemented, and our salary cap, our $61 million, I think, was what we had on the books, had to go down to 39. So I was making $2.5 million, so I got bought out. I was a free agent. I always wanted to play for Daryl Sutter, and he came calling first, and so I went there, signed a 2-year contract, and it was tough to leave, but that was a perfect situation. It was like going to play junior again. I got to play with Jerome McGinley, who I have the utmost, second to Steve Yzerman as leaders and people and stuff. And I loved my time, the first year in Calgary, but ran into injuries and back into my addiction the second year and stuff, but was able to fight through it and able to come back here. So as a free agent, to prove to be able to make it back into the lineup and play 17 playoff games. So, it was one of those things that because I was making too much money and because maybe my priorities were where the Red Wings wanted them, meaning that they were more into the band and stuff like this. But, live and learn. It all worked out in the end, and here we sit.
Yeah, here we sit. And, D-Mac, I'm sure you get this question a lot, and I think that the answer is so dependent on the person. We speak in these blanket statements about, is Detroit a free agent destination? It really is up to the individual. What would you say is the percentage, if you had just a rough guesstimate, the percentage of guys in free agency that are about the bag, that are about going to a city they want to go to, or going to a winning situation? If you had to break those into three segments.
You got to see where you're at. You nailed it earlier when you said Kadri made $4.5 million last year. So that means that's the high point of his career. He's looking for the bag. What he's done, he's got his cup, right? It's all different. It leads me back to after we won in 97, 98. Marty LaPointe's a free agent, right? Boston comes calling, offering him 4 years, $20 million, 5 a year, right? He can't, the most that he's going to make to re-sign in Detroit because of the salary is probably 3.5. That's life-changing money, right? The rest of your teammates are going, go get it. You can always come back or whatever. So I think that for most of the time, the term and the money plays a bigger perspective. If you've won and you're lucky to be in that situation, then you can look at teams and destinations. I tell you this, though. The fact that Steve Yzerman's running the ship here makes Detroit a destination place, and especially with the fact of the young guys that they're building. So, that's changed. It's just whether or not the money's there, because the bank's not. It's a credit union right now. It's not the big bank yet. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not there. So if that guy, and that's why I'm saying is that he will spend the money when that guy's there, but that guy's not out there.
Olli Maatta is official to the Red Wings, 1 year, $2.2 million, played 66 games last year for the LA Kings, had 1 goal, 7 assists, was a plus 17, was a former first-round draft pick, number 22 overall, back in 2012, made just over $4 million last year for the LA Kings. So Olli Maatta is here as well. And again, just the flexibility of it. If things don't go the way they want it to for the season, he's flippable.
And there's a guy that is a playoff performer. There's a guy like a Nick Leddy, a guy that's valued around this league. You can't. There's another layer that Steve Yzerman puts in his repertoire of guys that still have value throughout the season. If the value to my team doesn't last, I'm not going to get stuck with this, right? There's a 5th round draft pick at the worst at the back end if somebody wants him as a playoff performer, if that's not what the Wings have in store for us this year.
What else do we have here on Ask D-Mac? Steve O'Baby says, D-Mac, which player do you think will make the splash in the NHL season for the Detroit Red Wings this year? I guess that's kind of an open-ended question.
No. You know what I'm really looking forward to? Is Jacob Vrana being healthy for a year. Right? How's that going to... So having him for a full season, figuring out what the chemistry is, who he's going to play with. Is it going to be a Raymond Larkin thing? Or is it a Larkin Bertuzzi Raymond thing? Is it... But Jacob Vrana on a full year, I expect that... Because that's the guy that can be your number one center. Right? If you got Vrana, Larkin, Copp up the middle, that's a playoff team.
What about because here's where it is for me, and you talked about Vrana, is now my question is, can you stay healthy? You know what I'm saying? And that's a legitimate question. I don't care what anybody says, man. Like, that's a legitimate question.
Then that's why I said it'd be nice to see a full season out of him.
Right.
So, and that's also a question that needs to be added. And obviously, it's exciting. You got 2 young goaltenders that are legitimate goaltenders that are going to push each other and hopefully learn. The big question is, what are we going to do on defense? Right? Who are the guys that are going to step up? You know what you got in one, and maybe a half, and now you know what you got in another one, in a solidified NHL player in Ali Mata, former first rounder. Pedigree there too.
Here's one a little bit off the board. Francis Garcia, D-Mac, heading to Banff in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Any must-dos you can suggest? Bars, restaurants, secret places, sites, etc.
Dude, you got to make sure you hit the hot springs. Okay, so up in Banff so you'll be out there in the summertime. It'd be perfect. That nighttime, they have all these little hot springs around where you can go, and the hot spring like a whirlpool, but it's a natural. You can sit out in the mountains and stuff. Make sure you do that. Nothing like that at night. Enjoy your nature. Say hi to some of the mooses.
Or mooses? Moose-eye?
Goose, geese.
Moosey?
Mooses.
Tomorrow, we will wrap up everything that was from the opening day of NHL free agency. I'll have a pivotal Detroit Red Wings question for you that didn't get a chance to get to today, but we are going to get to it tomorrow. And it's something I think that's very, very important, and it's something that I've talked about before the season started last year. We kind of shelved it during the season, but now we're in the off season. And as I look around, and I think you guys are knowing where I'm going with this, I want to find out how comfortable you are at certain numbers with certain players. So we will chop that up tomorrow, D-Mac.
Talking about baby Bert.
I didn't say that.
Baby Bert.
But it's a critical question.
Bert. Yeah, we'll find out more after. See how this all plays out. As we leave this show, this would be a good one. Ben Sherratt, right? Big D man, was in Montreal, moved around. Tammy Chin reporting possibility of coming to Detroit. So we will talk about that tomorrow. That would be huge as far as development-wise and helping Mo Seider, because that guy is a legit one of these under the radar guys that we can bring to and
remember,
culture.
All these signings, and you're doing them just to get to the salary floor.
Just to
gets me excited, man.
Not to the window, to the wall, to the flow.
Yeah.
To the flow.
It alters my britches a little bit. For D-Mac, Darren, McCarty, for Neal.
Pants are swelling. See you tomorrow.
For Sam Flannel and for Chris, Neal Ruhl. Thanks for watching Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.